What up, guys? Man from Room back again with another video. Today we'll be going over Angmar, so let's load up our test map. It's been a while since the last video. Been busy with life and stuff, but anyway, the game actually just received a massive new update to the icons and such, and many new additions. So a lot of the old videos are gonna be like super outdated if you were to like load this up and play it today, because there's like new stuff, new icons, lots of changes, etc. So let's go over Angmar. Let's start with I guess we'll start from the fortress and then we'll go over different stuff. So expansions, we got Troll Stone Thrower expansion, Battle Tower expansion, Air Tower, Trebuchet, and then Direwolf, Kennel expansions, and these are like slaved wolves that go out and attack people. And then of course we got the wall hub, and then we can upgrade the fortress, Flames of Darkness. So this decreases the cost of our heroes by 10%, and decreases the cost of upgrades on our sorcerers by 50%. Spike Moat damages units that are near the fortress. Ice munition, so upgrades the arrows on the catapults on the fortress to do frost damage. House of Lamentation debuffs enemy units that are nearby, and then ice walls, which grants the fortress a significant upgrade, and walls in a certain radius. Okay. Another reason we're going to go over the fortress first is because the Angmar has this unique ability called Expansion of Power. So to get 3 of your most important buildings, you do need to buy them from the fortress. So there's Dam and the Crypt. So this grants you access to the Bear White Crypt, so you can get trained whites. They're really good against spam units, and gives you access to Karsh, who's an insane hero. You got Sorcerers of Twilight. This gives you access to the Sorcerers in Temple of Twilight and Gulzar. And Fallen Dunedain. This is how you actually can recruit, build the Hall of the King's Men and recruit Dark Dunedain units and Blackguard units, which are your elite units. So let's upgrade these. Alright. So that's it for the fortress. We'll go over this later. These are tied to the Spellbook power. Alright, so we got obviously the standard Angmar Mill. For our first military building, we have the Vassal Bearing. This allows us to recruit the Thrall Masters. For our second military building, we have the Beast Den. This grants us access to direwolves and trolls, and this wolf, this special wolf we'll talk about later, and you can buy the upgrade. Okay, of course we got our Barrow White Crypt. Our Temple of Twilight. So, quick thing about that is as you upgrade the temple, the upgrades are unlocked automatically. Let's build this. Let's build this one over here. Called the Kingsman.
Angmar must grow stronger. Get over there. Get moving. I'll go there now. We've built a new Hall of the King's Men.
Yep, this is the Hall of the King's Men. And if you upgrade it with Chambers of the Blackguard, you gain access to these elite units or heroic units, and then the Dark Iron Forge. This is your forge and also basically your siege works in one building. You can buy the Angmar Troll Stone Thrower, and you can buy the upgrades. For our next building is we get the Blood Chalice. Build this over here. So this is a well and a statue all in one building. It also increases the command point by 20, and it reduces the cost of infantry units by 4% per chalice, up to a maximum of 24.
Get ready to build.
And it provides a leadership, 20% armor, and 50% faster experience gain. Then we got the obelisk. It's a very cool decal, actually. This is a statue that debuffs, so nearby enemy units lose 25% armor damage, and then stealth are also revealed.
Get ready to build.
And then, of course, we got our battle tower, the wall hub, and of course the fortress, but we can only build one. Okay, so that is all the buildings. The next thing we shall go over, the spellbook tree, because the Angmar spellbook actually just kind of stays the same, regardless if you have first stage. So let's buy all these powers. Okay. We'll actually go over this one first, the Stronghold of the Crown, because it relates to the fortress. So when you buy the Stronghold of the Iron Crown, the fortress gets another armor upgrade on top of the one it gets if you get the ice walls. So this makes it, I believe this is the tankiest fortress in the game when you have this power. And when you get this upgrade, you get these two abilities here. Winter's Wrath. This is an ice snowball. Yeah, it's the same as vanilla. It's just a big snowball instead of a fireball. Looks cool though. And then you get this thing, the Power of the Witch King. So this is a spell. You have a choice. You can put it on any one of these heroes. So basically, it's like every hero except the Witch King and the Underworld Wizard and Overlord, which we'll go over later. And so you get different effects depending on who you put it on. If you put it on Zafragor, he's just gonna he will explosions. He will be summoning explosions around him for like 2 minutes, I think. For Maglin, he becomes like a well. And Mornemarth, if you have a whole bunch of Dark Dunedain units on the field, it triggers a special ability, and they receive the Dark Pact. For Golzar, he temporarily regenerates acolytes with great speed. Durmarth, he does more damage. For Rogash, he gains armor and speed. For Karsh, he becomes a permanent summon, and Hwaldar receives a bonus to all stats. The Beastmaster can turn into a werewolf, and Helogwyn's arrows will pierce through enemies, which is really powerful. So now we'll go over the units. We'll start with the Thrallmaster units.
I have stone and iron to use for Angmar.
I speak with the Witch King's voice. I am the Fist of Angmar. I come to command. I can bring thralls to command.
Okay, so this is just like vanilla. You get you can summon 4 different types of like cheap expendable units. You can get the Gunbad Orcs. You can summon the Rudar Spearmen. You can summon Rudar Axthors. And you can also summon Wolf Riders, but you do need the Beast Den to have built the Beast Den beforehand.
I will lead our Wolf Riders into battle. Pay attention, scum. You'll do as you're told.
And yeah, all these units are just like really simple, cheap, expendable units. These guys do get a formation. And then, okay, let's go over the Beast Den. We got our Direwolves. So this is kind of a weird unit. So this is considered infantry. Yeah, this is kind of considered infantry, even though they're like wolves. But anyway, they're really good against pikemen, and they're okay. And because they're fast, they can actually hunt down cavalry, which makes them pretty good against that. They're actually not that good though against obviously other swordsmen, heroes, and buildings. Yeah, and you can upgrade them with the spike collars, and it gives them additional health and damage. And let's buy all the upgrades.
We have banner carriers now. The ice
Okay.
munitions are cold enough now.
Okay, we got our snow trolls.
We have freezing out.
So these guys are cavalry. So they can trample units. They can get the standard upgrades, and they get a charge attack at level 2. So they get 75% damage and 20% speed for 10 seconds, and you gotta like click on a nearby enemy, and then they'll charge them and knock whoever else over. And then we got our hill trolls. These guys get a porcupine formation, and they can get the standard upgrades.
Spears out! Out!
Okay. We can so from our we'll go over the bear whites. Yeah. So this is the bear white pit. As you notice, it does have a level up system. It also has like slots for you to put units in. This only works for Karsh, I believe, and these whites. So you can kind of build multiple of these and move them all over the place. The whites, they have a passive debuff, where enemy infantry cavalry units lose 5% armor damage, and then their weapon, if they attack an enemy, they instead lose 25% armor damage, and it lasts for 25 seconds. And going back to this building, it levels up each time a barrow white kills an enemy. So if you have a lot of them, you can obviously level this up a lot faster. And then, depending on the level of the building, you will summon Karsh. We'll go over to him later, though, when we'll go over the heroes. Alright, so for the temple, we went over it briefly. As it levels up, you unlock the soul-free, the upgrades for the sorcerers. So some of the sorcerers. So these are, if anyone's played vanilla, remembers these guys. They're support units. They don't have an attack or anything like that, and they're just here to provide cool magic abilities. Our bear white crypt just leveled up. As you can see, it's level 5 now. Karsh will be summoned at level 10, and there's these ambient whites summoned. So back to our sorcerer. So he has no attack. You get this ability. Yes, you get these two abilities, Black Ice and Fell Strength, right away. These will be your primary abilities, and then you can buy these upgrades, which you can see costs are discounted because of the fortress upgrade. So Black Ice creates like an area of land, and then enemies lose 25% speed.
Where do they think they're going?
Fell Strength. Oh, so you got to use this on enemy units, and then nearby allied units will gain 25% damage and speed. Soul Freeze. So when you buy one of these, you can only get one. I guess we'll just get these guys. We'll need at least one of these battalions for later. So this, you can freeze enemy units. You can freeze your own units too. They can't move, but they also can't be attacked. For Will of Souls, you use this on enemy units. They take damage over time, and then nearby units are healed. And then we got Corpse Rain, where you summon a whole bunch of corpses and they poison units. And this costs the most. That's a pretty cool effect. And as you can see, the Acolytes do regenerate their units over time. Okay, let's get to the I actually skipped over doing the power. Alright, we'll finish the units first, and then we'll go back to the spellbook tree. Alright, now we get to the cool stuff, in my opinion, that people like. The Dark Dunedain units. I think they were called the Black Numenorians in game. Or in the base game, but they've been renamed here. So these are the swordsmen. They get a charge attack at level 2. They get their death mask level 4, which is a passive debuff. They can get the standard upgrades. These are the Dark Dunedain pikemen. They get a porcupine formation. They get their death mask level 4, and they get the standard upgrades. These are the Dark Dunedain Rangers. They get a bombard. They get the long shot, and then they get the standard archer upgrades. Alright, now we get to our heroic units. The Blackguards, the Blackguard Knights, and the Dark Iron Guards.
Death to those who oppose us. We go no further today.
Okay, so for the Blackguards, the upgrades for both the infantry unit and the cavalry unit are exactly the same. Let me get one more. So you buy the Blackguard's Chosen. It works pretty much like a banner carrier. And then you gain access to these favors. So you can get a favor of Karsh, Gulzar, or Zafragor. And depending on which one you choose, you get a different passive and a different active ability. So we'll give these guys the favor of Karsh. So they get a passive debuff when they choose the favor of Karsh, and then they get the Dark Blades. So each time after you activate this, each time they attack an enemy, they will heal themselves. They will drain their life from them.
We'll stop the enemy finds us here.
So for these guys, if you choose the favor of Gulzar, they permanently gain resistance to frost, magic, poison, and flame damage. And then their effect is they deal additional poison damage, and then anyone they kill with the poison is revived as a Barrow Wight.
Of course, my lord. Always keen to tear down.
And then for the favor of Zafragor, unit permanently gains 25% damage, and then for the active ability, they deal double damage, they deal splash damage, they deal knockback, and they resist knockback, but they do lose some armor.
If the enemy finds us here.
Okay. And then that we'll need the Witch King for. We'll go over when we get to the Witch King. And then we just obviously have the our Troll Stone Thrower, Troll Stone Catapult, or Trebuchet, whatever. And it's got like the standard catapult stuff, auto choir, bombard, and then you can upgrade the weapon. All right. So that's that for all the third age units. Let's get back to Spellbook power real quick. I jumped the gun last time. So this power, White Wolf Lair. You summon a neutral lair. It's a friendly lair. You can't attack it, and then it'll summon wolves. These white wolves. They're a bit stronger than the dire wolves. Yeah, that's kind of all this building does. I guess you could use it to like protect you from harass, or if you want to cut like an area off against cheap units. But honestly, it's not that useful. And if a downside is if they destroy it, there is a creep money. If they do destroy it, yeah. So anyway, back to powers. The horn, just the standard horn. 50% damage for 20 seconds. A blight, there's no resource building for me to use it on, but it's the same blight as vanilla. You create a plague on a resource building, and then it lowers the production by like over half, I believe, for like two to 3 minutes, and then you can use it on another resource building if it's in line of sight. They got Fellwind, everyone's favorite Fellwind, where it kind of just, yep, drags everyone into the center. We got Frozen Land. It's been a little bit repurposed in this. It no longer debuffs. It's just the same as every other land. It grants allied units 40% armor. We got Snowbind. You can use this on your building or an enemy building. It kind of puts the snow effect around it, and areas within its effect can no longer produce, but they are immune to damage. The next ability is Summon Barrow Wights. So you summon this Barrow Wight Crypt. This counts as a military building, and it counts towards the tunnel system for the Barrow Wights. And then you summon temporarily summon these leveled up Barrow Wights, and I believe they have the same passives. Yeah, they should have the same passives as the other Wights. So next ability is Coldrick from the north. This summons an ice dragon. So this dragon, which is looks really cool, nice and ice flavored. Anyway, so its primary attack freezes units. It doesn't really do a lot of damage, but its primary attack freezes units, and its breath freezes everyone, I think, within the radius. I probably should have summoned elsewhere. Let me see if it'll move over there fast enough. And then we got Plague. So you pick an area, and then it's just poisoned for a minute, I believe. And then the plague can spread to nearby enemy units that are in, but you can just move out of it. Okay, it is spreading. Yeah. Dragon moves kind of slow. And then we go over the Avalanche. Actually, wait, the dragon's there. Okay, so yeah. Yep, so it freezes all the units. That plague actually didn't really do that much. Oh well, if you're attacking them, obviously it'll be more useful. Yeah, so his primary attack is the same as his ability, I guess. Anyway, back to our second to last ability, Avalanche. This is just like vanilla. You summon an Avalanche, and then any units and heroes that are affected by it lose 60% speed for 20 seconds, and any buildings touched by the Avalanche lose 99% production for 20 seconds. And it does a lot of damage. Okay, maybe not that much. Maybe it got nerfed. It used to take like half of a fortress's health, so I assume it also got nerfed a little bit. Alright, and then we went over the stronghold of the Iron Crown. We're going to save the first stage power and stuff for later. So now we get to go into the hero lineup for Angmar. Let's buy all our heroes.
I'm giving the orders around here now. You'll do what I say.
My rage is let loose.
I am a brigand.
Not given you.
I learned at the hand of the Lord himself.
Listen here, scum. Move.
I know the hills.
I am ready for
All out your guard. Honor is for the weak.
What is more of your concern?
Rollcut's ready to do what I say.
I learned at the hand of the
Alright,
Lord
so
himself.
as you might have noticed, Angmar has, wait, what was this? 10 heroes? Okay, it has 9 heroes. 9 heroes that it can immediately summon from the fortress. And then you got more heroes with Karsh and Gulzar. But we'll go over the ones from the fortress first, because they'll be the ones you use most of the time. You don't always go for Karsh and Gulzar.
Sounds like I have nothing to worry about.
Okay, and we'll move them a little bit closer to the enemy in case we want to show off some of the abilities. Okay, so let's go over Golfimble. Okay, so Golfimble, he has right away. 3 abilities. This one requires a beast den. He summons some black wolves. It's supposed to be I think it's supposed to be 3, but maybe I'm mistaken. It used to be 3. For this ability, so this only affects orcs. They gain 20% speed and resources for defeating enemies, and then he is a I guess he's kind of a pay-to-win hero, but he's like expensive pay-to-win hero though. So you buy the Captain of Gundabad upgrade, it unlocks a new ability, Shadow of Gundabad. It also upgrades this ability. So each time you upgrade Gulfimble, this ability will be changed. So now this ability, allied orcs near Gulfimble gain 30% speed and resources for defeating enemies. But Thrall Masters and the Gundabad Chiefs, which are some more units we'll go over in a sec, that are locked behind Gulfimble, become invulnerable, so you can't snipe the Thrall Masters. So this ability, which is very, which is great, is you summon an orc tent and then you can get more units. So you can get more. You can get Gulfimble's orc warriors.
Speak with the Witch King's voice.
So these are basically these is basically the Thrallmaster goblins, but without the Thrallmaster. And they gain they get purchase their own unique banner carry, and they get their own unique active ability. And their active ability is to gain 20% armor and 50% damage and knockback resistance for 20 seconds. You can buy added more archers. These guys are very strong. They also can get a Gundabad Chief. So this guy is the guy who becomes invincible with that ability. And then they get an active ability. So for 20 seconds they deal less damage, but if they fire faster, and their arrows reduce the speed of all enemies by 50% for 5 seconds. You can get the Mount Graham Orcs Slaughterers. They have the Bloodthirsty ability. Shown it off before. And then they can also get Banner Carrier and Forge Blades. And then the last unit is you can get Gulfimble's Wolf Riders, which are the basically the Wolf Riders, but without the Thrallmaster. And they can get the Gundabad Chieftain, and they can get the this ability, Terrifying Beast. So they cause enemy cavalry to lose 25% armor, become weaker to fear and terror effects, and become afraid. So let's upgrade Gulfimble again. Now this ability becomes nearby allied infantry and heroes gain 24% armor damage and gain resources for defeating enemies. And we'll just level up one more time because this stays the same. Now it's all allied units and heroes temporarily gain 50% armor and damage, but lose 25% speed and gain resources for defeating enemies. So he's can be like a very useful support hero. He's very good. This tent is really good in the early game if you want to rush him out and pay the upgrade and buy the upgrade on him. So for this ability, so this needs an enemy resource building. So the resource building is disabled permanently, I believe, and then you can recruit these orcs from it. You can recruit the orc warriors and the archers, if I remember correctly. And then for this ability, you actually gain a new Palantir, and you get 3 options of abilities to attack an enemy fortress. So for this one, so once you use one of these, like a button will appear over here. And once the countdown expires, all allies, which includes all units and heroes that are near the fortress, gain 75% damage, 25% armor, and gain resources for destroying buildings and killing enemies. For this one, the fortress will be set on fire, and for this one, several orc hordes will appear within the fortress. So we'll do this one. I think he's got to run over to it real quick.
No straggler.
Okay.
No resting.
Be ready for it.
While we wait for him to go over there, we shall.
I am ready for battle.
You'll do what I say.
Okay, he's almost there. Just turn the trainer off real quick. Okay. Alright, so, yep, this is going to pop up. This is on a timer. I think it's a minute long.
Step on that. No resting.
And once this is gone, we'll know that the effect
Listen here.
is active, and there'll be some orcs around it. All three of the abilities work, but you can only pick one. Anyway, let's go to the Beastmaster. So for the Beastmaster, this is a leadership, level 1 leadership. So allied beasts, which is the direwolves and the trolls, I believe. They gain 25% armor and damage and invulnerability to frost damage. He has a Palantir switch at level 2. At level 4, he gets this ability called Angmar's Beasts. This unlocks the Tame Beast here, which will also just be permanently unlocked if the Beastmaster is level 9.
My rage is let loose.
Okay, so... Okay, we activate that ability, and now with Gulfthimbal's ability activated, so now we have... These are the Gundabad Orcs. These are Dagor Orcs. More Gundabad Orc warriors, and then these are the Archers. Yep. Cool. That's a cool, kind of cool, flavorful ability. I think the best one, though, is the one that allies get the damage, armor, and the scavenger. So anyway, back to Gulfthimble. Now we can buy this wolf. I'm not gonna wait that long for it though. And the wolf is a special unit. This requires this actually does require the Beastmaster to be level 9. Once the Beastmaster is level 9, actually I'm skipping over his ability. I don't think this ability works. It says when you activate it, or this ability, when you activate it, it automatically releases this guy. Let me try it again. Okay, I think the wolf should come out. Okay. Okay. So a couple of wolves come out, but you can't control them. So it misses the fun of actually using the wolf, summoning the wolf, and using this. So now you can begin a ritual, not cancel a ritual. So the wolf is going to undergo evolution in about 30 seconds, a world record, I would say. And you're just going to let the timer go until you can no longer evolve. And by the way, these wolves will just attack anyone. So let's get back to our wolf. There's a werewolf. So we could stop here, but we got one more stage of evolution. So we can get an ice wolf. The ice wolf lasts for 90 seconds, I believe. And it gets the gobble ability, and it gets the stun ability. I would really like it if these wolves were not here. Kind of like messing up the flow. Okay, and that's the stun ability. This is like the same as the Tollingroth wolves, but yeah. That's just kind of like a cool, neat thing you could do as Angmar. You're not always going to get the Beastmaster level 9, and it's not always like practical, but that's honestly just like a really cool flavor that you can just summon a nice wolf like that. Okay, now back to the Beastmaster. On his other Palantir, he gets more combat-based abilities. He can get Moonlight. This is a heal for himself and his beast. He can get this ability, which you can auto-cast. So he's gonna he can target either himself or his beast, and they gain 50% armor and 25% damage for 60 seconds. This ability, he can become a wolf, but we're gonna activate this one first before we do that. So for this one, he summons wolves all over the map. Yeah.
Be ready for it.
And you can't control them. They do provide a lot of vision though, and they will attack any enemies.
I'm ready
And then
for battle.
he can transform into a wolf. So yeah, in this form he can trample enemies. He's fast. He can still use all his other abilities. And I think he does. Well, I think he has slightly better armor. I'm not entirely sure. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna show off the stronghold of the Witch King power on him.
Face my blade.
So his beast, he merges with his beast and becomes this powerful werewolf. And it is on a timer, but he can also transform back. So yeah. Okay, he can one-tap basic units. Well, he is level 10, but that's good. Can he trample them? Okay, he can run through units and knock them over. Alright, that's good. I've never used them in a game. I've just, like, played around with them in the test map, like, once or twice. Okay. The next hero we shall go over is Hualdar. So, lovable Hualdar from vanilla. He's a little bit different. He's quite a bit different in this mod. So, first off, his passive. Each time he attacks, nearby infantry and cavalry units gain 50% damage. Briefly though, it's like I think it's like 5 seconds or less. So you do got to keep attacking to get like good value out of the damage buff. For this ability, it's an active ability. It only affects Hillmen, Orcs, and Bone Crushers, which are these units he summons at level 10 or at level 7. These are just like big, strong wildmen. I don't know how else to say that. So they gain 25% speed and resources for defeating enemies. He gets a paralyze at level 5. This is a very strong paralyze. It actually has really good range. Not across the map, obviously, but he kind of summons some Hillmen on a hero, and it paralyzed for 11 seconds. And then lastly, he gets a level 10 ability. So you can tear down any enemy resource building.
We search for the enemy.
It just insta kills it regardless which level it is. So that's it's pretty good for level 10.
Let's get moving. The ring has been dropped. The hills will be ours.
Next, we shall go over Helligwyn. Helligwyn is an archer hero. She's very.
Someone who knows it.
Okay, so the Beastmaster dies after a certain amount of time in his werewolf form. Okay.
Of them all.
I actually didn't know that. Let's see.
One of my
Alright, so
prisoners has escaped them.
Helligwyn. She is not like other archers though. She gets 3 types of arrows. So this is her default arrow, where she just does. She has regular like target acquisition distance, and she does like regular standard damage, and then she gets ice arrows. So this allows her to attack walls and fortress expansions, basically buildings, and reduce their damage, and reduce the production of military buildings, so not farms. Reduce their production by 50% for 5 seconds. But she does 25% less damage to enemy units. And then she also gets freezing arrows. So these arrows are specifically for units and heroes. They slow down any enemy by 25% for 5 seconds, but she also deals 25% less damage.
That is none of your concern.
And at level 3, she gets a multi-shot. This is like an arrow volley. It doesn't have yeah, she gotta be like kind of close. And then, so depending on which arrow she has equipped, so depending on which one, it will apply the effect. So I think I have the freezing arrows there, so they were temporarily slowed for 5 seconds there. At level 5, she gets Whispers of the Northwind, so she gains 200% vision, 30% speed for 30 seconds, and then when she moves, she leaves down a trail. So anything that like gets caught by the trail loses. Okay, it doesn't say how much, but they lose speed for a long time. They lose speed, and as you can see, she can shoot pretty far now. Okay, level 7, she gets this Ice Bear. She creates a barrier. It can be useful for kind of cutting off enemies. They can't attack it. I forget how long it lasts for. I think it lasts for like a minute. This ability, level 9, is pretty insane. So she orders a barrage of frost arrows, and the range on this is further than the other ability. So enemy units and monsters in there are frozen for 10 seconds. Heroes are slowed down by 50%, and military structures are disabled and can't attack for 30 seconds. So you can do a lot of like damage to like buildings, units, and heroes with this ability. It's a really good level 9. Look at that. Look at the radius too. It shoots like multiple times. And then lastly, her ability, Gift of Winter. So her freezing arrows slow enemies twice as much, so 10 seconds. Ice arrows against buildings now last for 15 seconds, so they'll lose production and damage twice as long, or for 15 seconds now. Effective multi-shot will be improved, and damage bonus. So the damage bonus by frozen arrows and ice ammunition is doubled for all units of Angmar. So basically, what that means is your catapults with ice munitions and the Dark Dunedain Rangers will deal double frost damage, which gives them a fairly insane damage buff.
Bless me.
Yeah, so that's Helligwin.
You have to find me someone.
Whatever you do.
Dermarth is really cool. So he has 2 Palanters of abilities, but these are all passives. He can summon units that changes by level, kind of like I showed off with Glorfindel. He actually can switch forms. By default, he comes out as his warrior form, and that gives him these 2 abilities here, which is the power of the Curse Blade. This is kind of like a Morgul Blade, but depending on what level he is, he'll gain different effects because he gains different seals. So it does a lot of damage. It'll pin the enemy, and then depending on the seals you unlocked, the target will lose 50% armor. It'll turn into a barrow white if it dies. The enemy will lose 1,000 additional damage, or it'll freeze the enemy for 30 seconds. And then he gets this ability, Hide. It's just like Grima's cloak.
Sounds like I have nothing to worry about.
And then if he attacks, he leaves the cloak. We'll go over his passive. So these change depending on which form he's in. So for his warrior form, for this one, Seal the Sorcerer, his attacks deal additional magic damage. For this one, he heals himself when he attacks. For this one, he is immune to flame, frost, poison, pierce, cavalry, hero range, and structure damage. So he's immune to most elemental damage and arrows. And for this one, he has a 25% chance to freeze enemies in close proximity for 15 seconds. And this can freeze heroes. And frozen units, this kind of freeze will be vulnerable to attacks. So let's go over to his guardsman form. So in his guardsman form, he's more of a support character. In this form, he's like an assassin, like he's meant to go in combat. But he provides black guards, shadow guards, dark iron guards, and sorcerer units, 50% armor and immunity to fear and terror.
Need a breather.
And he gets a different icon. And then he still has the hide ability, but he gets this ability, which grants 12 seconds of immunity to a hero.
It's a little late for digging graves.
It's okay. I mean, it is a level 3, so it can't be that strong. Maybe it is too strong. I'm not entirely sure. Let's go over the passives again. So when he's in his guard form, allied heroes, necromancers, the blackguards, they all restore their abilities 25% faster. So in this for this seal, he becomes like a well. Allies close to Durmarth will be healed so long as they remain out of combat. So for this one, allied necromancers, heroes, and blackguard units will be immune to all the damage types I mentioned it before. So arrows and frost or elemental damage essentially. And for this one, he summons terrain that can slow enemies but strengthen his allies. Okay.
Welcome to my world.
And then his summon ability, we're obviously going to get to level 10, but you can see at level 1 he summons a damned horde in each one of these, and then as he levels up he summons blackguard units. But because he's level 10, we'll get access to one of the best heroic units in the game, the Shadow Guards, and my personal favorite elite unit in the entire game. So this is the Damned Horde. We'll show them off first because they're on a timer. Kind of a goofy unit. They kind of like run inside each other at times. But when they attack, they'll like scatter. So, long story short about this effect, they heal themselves with every time they attack. Will they attack though? The one guy attacked. Okay, there we go. Alright, and so for this, they heal themselves. Let me move this closer. Maybe I can get rid of these wolves. That wasn't really damaging them. Maybe the ability's wrong. It's supposed to heal them and damage allies. And then the cool thing about these guys is they get all the abilities that the sorcerers get, but stronger. So they can get the soul freeze. Let's see if it freezes allies. Okay, it still freezes allies. So that ability is the same, but this ability, I believe, is the real. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I forgot to mention, they do. It does cost life to activate the abilities, so I kind of just killed them for no reason. So yeah, summoning Barrow-wights, and then they also have Corpse Rain. Corpse Rain is the same, but the Well of Souls is supposed to be better than the Sorcerer's one. Anyway, back to the Shadow Guards. These guys have a couple abilities here. So for their first ability, it's twofold. They have a passive effect. Any enemy units that are damaged by their blades lose 50% damage. And then they have an active effect where they can disable which disables the passive. Then they'll heal themselves and allied units in a small radius, but they lose 20% armor. For this, now at level 5, they also debuff. The blades now cause enemy heroes to also lose 25% damage. At level 10, they... Sorry, let me move into a hero.
How do you know me?
So, they choose a hero to protect. the hero gains 50% armor for 60 seconds. Blackguard units that are near the hero, not these guys, but these guys, the actual Blackguard units, they gain double damage when they're near the hero. But if the hero dies, all the nearby Blackguard units will also die.
Whatever you do, don't stare at me.
We'll stop here.
Okay.
If the enemy finds us here.
So that is Durmarth.
Whatever you do.
Now we're gonna get to Morgamir.
Weapon in the north.
Alright guys, I'm back. I had to I had to restart the game real quick because sometimes when you get too many of these Silmarils popping up, it'll crash, and that's happened before, so I was just taking precaution. Anyway, we were talking about we were about to talk about Mornemarth, and I just remembered that I didn't show the buffs that some of the heroes get from Power of the Witch King. So let's go back to Hualdar.
He will overthrow the west.
So as you see, 450 base health, or base attack, and now he gets 900. So he gets double damage. He also gains a speed increase, armor increase, and he gets other bonuses that aren't stayed on there. So
Hills will be ours.
that's cool.
Hills rise.
For Helligwin,
My blade.
You have to find me someone.
okay.
Someone who knows
So let's see if this. So her arrows will now pierce through enemies. Yep.
as you are.
So as you can see, it's kind of just like going through the target and then like hitting everyone.
That is none of your concern.
And then for Durmarth,
Now, die.
he has 550 melee damage. Now he deals 1100 melee damage. So he basically does double damage. And he does double magic damage. He does some magic damage as well. So the number is actually probably higher than 1100. And so he really becomes like an insane assassin. Anyway.
Call out your guard.
Yes, let's get back to Mornemarth. So Mornemarth has 2 Palanters. For this a bit,
The best your rabble can do.
let me just get a Dunedain unit. We're gonna save these for later.
We are the heirs of Numenor.
Okay. So this first ability, I believe this is literally vanilla ability from Morgamir as well. I might be mistaken. It's been a long time since I've played vanilla. Anyway, so for the first ability, you choose a Dark Dunedain battalion. It can be any one of them. And then that battalion gains 50% armor damage permanently and can heal themselves out of combat, but they can also, if let's say Mornemarth is low health, they can also sacrifice themselves to heal Mornemarth. The whole battalion will be sacrificed and Mornemarth will receive all his health back. So as you can see, they gain this ability. If Mornemarth's low, they sacrifice themselves and they can heal all his health. Okay. Now the cool thing about Mornemarth in this version is that he also gains access to these abilities here. So the premise of these abilities is all the same. So for the first one, it's about orcs. He executes a battalion of orcs. You can use this on any orc unit. So
I speak with the witch.
we're going to use the Thrall Master orcs here.
Don't get in my way.
You can also use the orcs here.
No backfire.
Ones will be ready.
So he executes some orcs, and then he gains a new Palantir, and then he can give his Dark Influence. And then, depending on which kind of unit you've sacrificed, he gives an upgrade to a hero. In this case, you have executed orcs, so he gives the upgrade to Golfimble. But you can also just kind of leave him like this for a little bit. Orcs will gain, they deal double damage, but lose 50% armor. So if you want double damage orcs, you leave them like this for a bit. This is kind of useless right now because we already have Golfimble leveled up. But basically, the upgrade system becomes free. Oh, the upgrade that you would buy. So if you're on the 800 cost upgrade, because you paid for that too, it'll just be free. And up instant, I believe, too. So that's very cool. The next one is for Hillman units.
Listen here, scum.
We will retake our homeland.
And this is going to segue into going over Hualdar again.
You'll do as you're told.
So you execute some Hillman. The Hillman gain nearby Hillman gain 200% armor and damage, or not damage, no, not armor. They gain 200% damage, lose armor, gain speed, but they're also in fear when they're near Mortimer. And then you can give it to Hualdar. I give the upgrade to Hualdar. And when Hualdar gets the upgrade, he actually gains new abilities. So this is the same. This is the Planter switch. His active ability just becomes a scavenger for everyone, all heroes and units. But himself, nearby allied orcs and Hillman gain 25% speed. This is the same as same, yeah. So for these new abilities, so near allied Hillman across the map are outraged. They gain 30% speed, deal 50% damage, and are resistant to fear and terror. But Hualdar cannot move. It's supposed to be like he's like captured, I guess. That was what some of the flavor text was saying.
He will overthrow the West. I am the fist of Angmar.
We'll work on these guys too.
I can bring thralls to command. No battle, sons.
Okay.
Chief of chiefs. Let's get moving.
So this ability is the same. For this ability, he needs to be near a building. He summons neutral Hillman, I believe, that will attack anyone. So that's why it's saying attack your troops. And I think it can be used on any building. This building though, this ability though is kind of sick. If he'll just spawn units around the fortress. Okay, the active ability is still going. These guys are buffed. He'll just spawn Hillman. These guys come without a Thrall Master. They're actually just Ruidar units. He'll just spawn them around a fortress for like 40 seconds or something. It's really cool.
They are weak and pathetic. Pick it up, you layabouts. They are weak and pathetic.
I know the hills.
While our hill chief is free.
Yep.
We have our to the Dunedain. Move. Pay attention, scum. You can take this, scum. Then burn.
Will it summon one more time?
We shall prevail.
Or does it only summon twice? Okay, yeah, it does. It did summon one more time.
I know the hills. We search for the enemy.
Okay, yeah, those are the neutral spearmen. Okay, they need to attack enemies. They don't actually attack buildings. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Can't just get an attack an enemy building for free. Okay, I think that's it only summons the army 3 times. So that's really cool in my opinion. You just get an army of Ruidar units without Thrall Masters for free. And they always spawn on an enemy base. Anyway, back to Mortimer, or Mortimarth. He also gets one for trolls. So he'll kill a troll. The trolls gain 200% damage and 25% speed, but lose armor and are feared. And then when you give it to Rogash, okay, Rogash permanently gains 100 damage and immunity to magic and poison damage. So that is incredibly strong, and it works. Yeah, and it also stacks with the power we'll go over later. So back to Mortimarth. He gets this ability called Intrigue. So he targets a unit. I don't think he can target a hero. Yeah, all right. He targets a unit, just one unit.
Is this the best your rabble can
He
do?
shares vision with Mortimarth, so you can get vision, and then the infiltrated unit loses 25% armor and damage. Wow, you can do that from pretty far away too. For his next ability, he can click on a Hall of the King's Men, and he will summon, and basically what you can do, or what this does, is now these Dark Dunedain units, not the Blackguards, it's just the Dark Dunedain units, they are cheaper. They're 50% cheaper. So now you can get your Swordsman for 200, Pikeman for 220, and your Rangers for 250, which is pretty absurd.
I am Lord's greatest
And then his next ability is Law of Strength. This is a very powerful buff. So for 40 seconds, or no, I'm skipping here. So all units of Angmar near him will take damage. Only those who are experienced in combat or worthy will survive a judgment. So he deals damage to
Now our presence here.
nearby units.
These lands have known peace for too long. Is this the best your rabble can do? Fools! Now our presence here will be revealed.
Okay. So obviously that killed some and damaged others. They're supposed to have a buff around them. Does the speed buff work? They seem faster. Okay, but anyway, they are immune to all non-magic damage. They deal double damage and they gain 43% speed. And it does not work on your elite units. Your Blackguard, Shadow Guards, and Dark Iron Guards. Does not work on them.
I don't care.
And then for his last ability,
Is this the best your rabble
he
can
gets
do?
Descent, but there's a catch. You need to use it on one of the... Oh, nice. Okay. The unit actually has a symbol above him. So anyway, you need to use it. You need to use it when you have intrigue on a unit.
You rush only to your death.
And now the units will fight each other, but it's the AI. They're not smart enough to fight each other.
Peace for too long. How many?
And then for Mortimarth, his power of the Witch King is the ability to grant all the Dark Dunedain units what is it?
Call out your guards.
The Dark Pact. That happens automatically for all of them without having to use the ability. As you can see, all our Dark Dunedain units are now got the Pact of Mortimarth, but they don't have the they cannot access their lives, so it's better in that respect. Don't have to worry about misclicking a button. Alright, so that's Mortimarth. The next hero is Zafragor. Zafragor is very cool in this. He's got a very unique passive here. So the lower his health, the more damage he does, and the less it costs to cast some of these spells, but they will also do less damage. So he's at 50%, less than 50% health. He does 50% more damage, but less magic damage, and his spells cost 66% less. If less than 25% health, he does 200% damage, melee damage. So he would do 1200 damage. He would gain 50% armor, and but he does no magic damage, and his spells don't cost anything. His spells in question are this.
Every creature in nature will turn and fight until it's survived.
Okay.
So don't think
The light fades.
to us now.
This ability, so he swings his blade and it does AoE.
This is not about what you want. It's about what you are.
It's the ring. Take it quick.
That's a Palantir switch. We'll get to that in a sec. This ability actually costs no life, but this ability is quite insane. So he gains 20% speed, immunity to magic damage, and he can trample / crush enemy units. So his spells all deal magic damage to himself. So, but when he activates this, he can activate them for free. And when he's running, he has the same effect that similar effect to what Helgen does. So she leaves this terrain behind, and it lowers enemy damage and speed by 25%. And now that we've activated, we can activate this ability, which would normally take half his health. You can activate it for free. That is an awesome word of power, I guess you want to call it. Summons all the ice. And if there are any heroes that are caught in this explosion, they're frozen for 10 seconds. So on his other Palantir, he gets this. This also costs no life. He switches his weapon. So, oh my god, I'll cast it. So his sword, Blood Rain, it causes AoE damage over time, and any enemy that is damaged by the sword also lose 25% armor and damage.
My servants are weak, but I am strong.
Okay. Okay, and it lasts for 30 seconds. We'll go over. So his next ability is the Damned. This costs 2,000 of his life. So you need a sorcerer battalion, and I don't think they need to be upgraded. So basically, he turns the sorcerer into the Damned unit. Okay, yeah, and then this works pretty much exactly the same as the Horde that Durmar summons, but you get one. They get the sacrificial rites, so they can heal themselves and damage allies, soul freeze, well of souls, corpse drain, etc. But you can go a little further with Zafragor. So basically, there's a lot of text there. He pays 2,500 life, and then he targets a damned warrior. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but these guys actually take damage over time, which is why they have the heal weapon. Anyway, you can remove that that damage over time, and then they also deal 200% magic damage. But they also lose health when they take this offering. They kind of like give some back, I believe. Okay, no, they don't lose health. All right. So now this guy just kind of operates as normal, and you can activate his abilities.
Let the sky rain death. Their souls to our bodies. Hold together, men. Hold together, men.
Okay, it works on this guy. It doesn't really work on the Horde for some reason. Okay. And then this ability for Zafragor, this costs 200 health per swing. So he gains 500 health, 25% speed, and 50% attack speed. What does this do again? I think he attacks faster. And he moves faster, is that it? So he does AoE and moves faster, and he gains more health? Is that what this does? This is a very cool effect, but I'm actually not sure what the point is, other than to get the speed and maybe the additional health. And then, for the power of the Witch King, now Zafragor is just, he has explosions that go all around him. And this lasts for like a minute or 2 minutes, I think. And they do a lot of damage, but it also is probably because he's level 10. Alright. Almost done with all these cool Angmar heroes. Now we're on to Rogash. So, at level 1 he gets the Dominate Troll. So he basically can take control of any enemy troll, the Angmar trolls, the goblin trolls, mortar trolls, etc. He gets a fear at level 3, or flee and terror. At level 5, basically if he's at red health, which is like 25% health or something, maybe a little more or less, I don't remember. He'll unleash a battle cry, so himself and nearby allied monsters will heal in combat. And also, the battle cry will buff the damage and armor of nearby trolls by 50%. And then he gets a leap at level 7. And then his level 8 abilities, he gains 150% armor and 200% damage. This stacks with the buff that Mortimarth gives him. And now he does 1430 damage. 1,430 damage. He's immune to magic and poison damage. And then we can combine this with power of the Witch King. He gains 200% armor and 1,500% speed. So he has 350% armor when he activates this effect. And he's faster and he does like double damage. Yeah. Well, he becomes an insanely tanky and damaging hero. And funnily enough, he's like, well, he's one of 2 heroes that third age heroes anyway that have like 1 Palantir, and he's definitely one of the. And he's still insanely strong. Now we get to everyone's favorite, the Witch King, the Angmar Witch King. He is night and day different than Mordor, also most known because he's also the Silmaril hero. So, first things first, he does get a mount. Not much to say. He is just a mount. His debuff works on it. By the way, his debuff, his passive ability is like twofold. Let me take him off his horse. So the Witch King, he reflects 30% of damage taken. Enemy units near the Witch King lose 25% armor damage and they're afraid. And then he also provides fear and terror resistance to all your infantry and cavalry units since he's the faction leader. Most faction leaders do that in this mod. So for the next ability, he gets this thing called the Warlock's Plans. You activate this, and depending on the level, some options will show up. You gotta re-click on them though. So this would be a level 1, this is level 3, this is level 5, and then this one's level 8. So for the first one, you make the... Okay, so the sorcerers become invulnerable, and they also cause fear in enemy units. For the second one, all enemy inns are disabled for 4 minutes. For this one, he gets 3 minions that can support Angmar. And then this one is all enemy non-resource structures suffer minus 50% production for 6 and minus 50% production for 60 seconds. So these are all pretty good. This one probably is the strongest. You just activate Plague on all the non-resource buildings, so you can use Plague on resource buildings, then you activate this, and then all their buildings lose 50% production. So that's pretty powerful. My favorite one, though, is this one, the Destruction of the West. We're going to use this. You get these guys. These are the Blackguard's Chosen, but they're called Angmar's Chosen. Can I... Okay. So basically what you can do with these guys is you attach them to a Dark Dunedain horde. These guys have a weapon that disables buildings. It also heals themselves. It also poisons units. So basically you attach these guys to your, let's say your melee horde, either your spearman or your swordsman. And then this guy, when he attacks, he's going to disable buildings, he'll heal himself, and then he'll poison any enemies in front of him. So that's really cool and probably a bit overtuned, but in all fairness, it does take some time to get the right level, and then you do got to have him in play. So yeah. Okay, will he attack? Yeah, he's poisons there. Okay, and then the other abilities are just self-explanatory. He gets his Shadow Blade at level 2. He switches to his sword. And then he gains 10% armor. He swings faster, but he does not deal splash damage. And then anyone he kills becomes a white. He gets a Palantir switch. Level 4, he gains Presence of the Witch King. This is a pretty powerful ability. So for 60 seconds, he'll activate one of 3 effects. The first option is enemy infantry, cavalry, and heroes lose 50% experience gain, and they can't self-heal for 3 minutes. For the second one, all units will become frightened of the Witch King and lose all leaderships and buffs. And then for the third one, the Witch King becomes immune to every damage type in the game except hero damage and flame damage for 20 seconds.
Either your lives or your wills are forfeit. Choose now. I can taste their fear.
So, I'm not actually sure which one he activated. We'll let it play for a little bit.
Against the Witch King.
Okay, so that's the second one, I believe.
There
Yeah,
can be no victory.
that's the second one. Okay. Alright. Now the next ability is Horrific Onslaught. So you target some allied units, and then they receive
Stand before
invulnerability,
the might of Angmar.
25% damage, and 25% speed, and 300% damage. So triple damage. But after 30 seconds, they all die.
The end has come for the West.
For this one, this is just reset the cooldowns of a hero from vanilla. Really simple. And then for this one, this is one of the strongest abilities in the game. He summons a portal for 60 seconds. And then it kind of just draws everything into it. So he summons 3 portals, but one after the other. For 20 seconds, this will sit on the battlefield. It'll draw in all enemy units to it. You can attack the enemies in here, and then they just can never escape. It's definitely one of the strongest abilities in the game, level 12. Okay, there's the second portal. This one should disappear shortly. Yep. Yep, so that's the Witch King. He is definitely one of the strongest faction heroes in the game. He's got many abilities packed into one. Did these guys die? Someone died. Like half them died. That ability sometimes doesn't work as it should, which is kind of weird. Like sometimes it will just work, and then I don't know, sometimes it doesn't seem to work. But they do get the damage buff. Anyway, I believe it's time. Oh wait, nope. We have to do our other heroes. So we shall do Karsh first. So to summon Karsh, you need to activate the ability, which to sacrifice, and you need to sacrifice a barrel wipe. And then we're just gonna skip kind of ahead. We're gonna give Karsh the power of the Witch King now, so he's permanent. Let me just reiterate. So Karsh, the level Karsh is summoned is determined by what level this is. It's when this is level 1, he's level 1. Then it's for each level he gains. For each level this gains, he gains 2 levels. So he's level 5. He's summoned to level 10. Okay. Oh yes. Let's make him permanent. That's all this the power of the Witch King does for him. So this guy's over there. All right. Now he's permanent. Yeah, turn this on. Alright, there. Alright, so now we have Karsh. So he gets the passive. Has his passive. All enemies in very close range lose 35% speed. Barrel wights in a large radius gain knockback resistance. And then he gains this ability. All his abilities are the same by the level per way. It's just you need level 10 to unlock this ability, and also his duration on the field is different depending on which level he summoned that to. That's like the only difference. So for this ability, so for 30 seconds, all enemies in the target area lose 25% armor, damage, speed, vision, 50% range, and experience gain. Enemy units will also flee in terror, and then they will unlock a new ability. So now this ability is unlocked. I think these. Okay, and then unlocks this ability. Okay, so this is another planter. It has this ability now because we used the, what is this ability called again? Shadow of Fear. And this summons a mist. Enemy infantry, cavalry, and heroes in the mist lose 90% vision, are much weaker to fear and terror effects. And he is disguised in the mist along with other barrel wights. And you can use this multiple times. You can summon multiple mists. Can I use this? Okay, no. These are just bugged because I was using the trainer. So you need to use the Shadow of Fear to unlock these last 3 abilities. But these, I believe, you can use right away. Okay, no, not that one, but this one. Alright? Yeah, okay, so this one you literally just need him level 10. So I believe he just absorbs the health. Yeah. He just continually absorbs their health and they take damage. That's a pretty cool effect. Obviously, it's not going to do that well against, you know, the strongest heroic, one of the strongest heroic units in the game, but it is going to... Okay, it wear out. It would probably insta-kill these basic units. Let's use this again. So now we can use this. So this summons... What does it do again? Okay, the placement is really weird. It summons a crypt. Yeah, okay, summons a crypt. It's kind of disguised in these rocks. And then this shadow field is the same as the one he just summoned. And then, yeah. Enemies lose vision. And he is disguised in it along with the barrel wights. And then, is this ability unlocked? No. Okay, so you need to activate this ability a few more times. Can I speed up unlocking these abilities? I think I need to do it like twice more. Okay, I can. Alright, nice. Okay. So you need to activate this ability, what, like 5 times to get all his abilities? There are 4 or 5 times. We shall go over this ability. So, what is this? So I think he just like targets a unit and then it dies. It like loses health over time. No, it's just a strike. Okay. He just attacks a unit and then it dies, and then supposedly it comes back with this ability. The more souls Kar collects with his whispers, the more grave fiends now appear in the environment. I'm pretty sure this just summons a set amount of wights. Let's Oh, I need to activate the ability one more time. That's almost back. Can we activate this ability? So he gets a weapon switch, and he has a passive effect, which curses foes around him for 45 seconds. Okay, there we go. So he summons this mist around him. And so the blade does a little bit of damage over time. Yeah. Oh, it does a lot of damage over time. Okay. No splash damage though, so it'll only be whoever he's attacking. And then I guess this mist around him is supposed to slow enemy units. Alright guys, I'm back. Had a bit of a interruption, but here we are. So we were going over Karsh's last ability here, or one of his last abilities here. Lost Souls. So when he kills units, it's supposed to like, with this ability, after you kill enough of them, I think some spirits are supposed to appear. I'm gonna kill a few more units with this ability, and then we'll see what happens. This is like a Morgul blade from the Nazgul, but it works differently for Karsh. Use it like 1 or 2 more times, and hopefully we'll summon some other Barrow Wights. I think that's what it's supposed to summon. Okay, let's see. Oh, there we go. Yep. So we killed 3 units, I believe, but only summoned 2. That's cool. And then let's get to, anyway, now we need to go on to our next kind of ulterior hero, which is Gulzar. So Gulzar, which you get from the Temple Twilight, as you upgrade this building, the Temple Twilight, you unlock chapters of here in the Book of Sorcerers. That's a lot of text, but basically you just pick an upgrade here, and it gives Gulzar an ability, and it scales with level. So we'll just go with this one. Oh yeah, that's right. It takes a sec for it to update. We'll just use the trainer. Okay, as you can see, the upgrade was completed. We'll go for this one. That ability and this ability. Okay, so we have Deadly Sacrifice, Souls, Burning Retribution, and Morgul Plague. Now we'll summon Gulzar. So he's not a hero in the sense that these heroes are. He's kind of like a unit hero, or if that makes sense. He doesn't have a level, but he doesn't need to level up anyway. So okay, let's move him towards the front. He doesn't get a stance either. Okay, so Gulzar is a sorcerer. Basically functions as an overpowered sorcerer. He's got these acolytes. He has a debuff here, so this affects heroes. So in a very wide radius, it causes enemy heroes to recharge their abilities twice as long if they're cast. That's very powerful. This ability is kind of like a fireball, but it's dark. Yeah, it's like a black fireball. Okay, and then for this next ability, he can sacrifice his acolytes. And now he has some temporary Barrow Wights. And then we'll use this to go over, segue into his Power of the Witch King bonus. So for Gulzar, he regenerates his acolytes a lot faster. So that way you can keep casting spells, because that's how he works. You need the units to cast all these, and kind of the cool thing about that is if you're able to constantly regen units, you can just keep casting abilities. So because they don't really have a cooldown. So next we're gonna do this ability. This ability is a teleport, and I think it damages units too. Pretty good. Did quite a bit of damage to those Gondor swordsmen. Okay, that ability does have a cooldown. So it's just these two that seem to have very low cooldown. Alright. So for this ability, this is only useful against units that have heavy armor or mithril armor. It does a lot of damage to them. That was cool effects, but it doesn't really do a lot of damage to these guys. It might do more damage actually to those Dwarven, the Khazad-dûm veterans. Let's see. That actually was more damage. These guys obviously have more health than these guys, but that was actually more damage. Okay, and then his last ability for this that we chose here is Morgul Plague. So he's supposed to just create the pestilence, or this ability, the Spellbook ability, and it's supposed to spread infinitely. But I don't think it really spreads infinitely. We'll see. Let's see how far this gets. And then we will head on to oh, that's right, we'll head on to first stage. Yeah, I don't think it's actually spreading very far. The effects is just there, but these units aren't poisoned. Alright. Oh. Yeah, alright. Let's go on to the Angmar first stage. Okay, so that was the Angmar first stage. The unique thing about Angmar is that your first stage fortress, or in this case the portal, is actually just summoned from the fortress, so you don't actually have a builder. You don't need to build it with a builder, which is, if you think about it, a massive plus. So that takes, because usually fortresses take like 3 minutes to build. But this you can just summon at level 1 and get star right away, so keep that in mind. And alright, so you have the portal. The portal has a few passives, so enemy infantry and cavalry lose 70% armor from against frost damage. So they come near this, they'll be significantly weaker to frost damage. That obviously is useful if you have this near the fortress with the upgraded arrow towers, or if they happen, you have a whole bunch of Dark Dunedain archers. That's kind of like your only source of like frost damage, and I guess Helluin too. Another passive is that enemy units that come nearby the fortress will be intermittently frozen. And then you get 2 active abilities here. This summons the weather ability Snowstorm for like 90 seconds, I believe, and then all enemy units lose 20% speed. And then the last ability is you can actually just freeze any enemy for 30 seconds. And then let's go over the units. We have the Underworld Soul Collector. We have the Underworld Dragon. And we have the Underworld Dark Demon. So the Soul Collectors, they're an elite swordsman, battalion of 3. They have a lot of health, they have good armor, they also have a great passive debuff. So enemy units lose 50% armor and speed. Okay, let's just move them over here real quick, because I do want to level them up actually. Just follow them over here. So they have 2 more abilities. They actually get Descent as an ability at level 4. And then at level 6 they gain an armor upgrade. Also, it's not written on here, but they also get a weapon upgrade at level 5 where it allows them to stun units with their attack. That was the Descent ability. So yeah, these guys are pretty good. Only limited by the fact that there are 3 in a battalion. Now we got the Underworld Dark Demon. These guys function pretty much like mountain giants, but without the ability to throw rocks. They have a pretty cool model too. They also have a debuff. All nearby enemy units lose 20% armor and recharge their abilities 35% slower. And then he gets the Stomp ability that the mountain giants have. The strength in these guys is that they do have a lot of health. They have really good armor, and they can also just kind of walk through units, but you gotta be careful though, because they will kind of die quickly if you run over pikes. Now we have the Underworld, just the Underworld Dragon. They get a Screech at level 1. They get an armor upgrade at level 5, and like most flying units, obviously they're weak to range, but they can pick off. I showed this before in another video. I think it was like with eagles or another flying. But anyway, the strength of them is they can pick off these really strong heroic units because they can just pick them up and that insta kill them. So it's good against obviously these Khazad-dûm Vets. It's good against the Eladris. Well, like most of the Eladris units, because they're like just 5 units in a battalion. Yeah. And then let's go to the first stage heroes. Let's Underworld Wizard, the Underworld Overlord, and Maglin.
Devil by day, demon by night. My time is come. The night yours to command.
Then let's send them over to the Let's send him over to the front line, I guess.
The Marauder's road is ever long. Dead man walking. I wasn't done with darkness.
Okay, first we'll go over the Underworld Wizard. He's a ranged hero. He shoots lightning out of his hand, kind of like the Ring Saruman. The blessed. Anyway, he has Descent at level 2. He has a Teleport at level 4, and it also knocks back units at the location. This ability is quite strong, so at level 6 he gets Code of Death. This upgrades his weapon for 30 seconds, and if he's out of combat, he heals twice as fast. So this gives him a pretty significant damage buff. Let's see. Let's test him on these Khazad-dûm Vets.
So be it.
That's pretty good damage. Yeah, he's basically can take most of the health in 3 hits, and then he kills them in 4. It looks like very good. At level 8, this is the same ability that I showed off in Mordor for Gorthauer and Sauron. He summons the Mist, except I think his lasts longer. Not sure. But yeah, this is the Mist, and then for this level 10 ability, it's the same as Gorthauer's ability, where he summons the Whirlwind. Yeah, the Vortex, the Dark Vortex, and then it sucks up units and kills them. So that's the Underworld Wizard. Very good. Very strong support hero. Let's go over the Underworld Overlord.
Your life is mine. What shot is this?
Alright, so the Overlord.
Your life is mine.
Right off the bat, He has a leadership, so allied heroes recharge their abilities 50% faster. So if you have a hero and you are standing next to him and you cast an ability, it'll recharge 50% faster. Also at level 1, he summons some minions around him. You summon? There you go. Yeah, he summons these minions. They're just like, I don't know, they're like the Goblin Warriors, but they have cool models. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can't control them, and they're like still kind of weak, but that's cool, flavorful, can be kind of useful, I guess. And then for his next ability, level 5, Disruption of Power. So this is a random effect. So he summons. So in one version, he'll summon a lightning strike. In another version, he'll set the ground on fire. And then the other version, he'll poison enemy units. Okay, let's see what we roll. Okay, we got the lightning strike ability. That was pretty good. He also gets a descent ability level 8. Angmar has a lot of descent effects, just in first stage alone. And then he, for his last ability, gets a Word of Power. I think that's the same one that Tarmyron has. Now let's go over to Maglin. So Maglin is kind of a cool hero. He has a passive debuff that scales with each level. So it starts off with nearby enemies lose 5% armor, and then they eventually lose more armor, they lose damage, and then it kind of caps. They start off by losing armor, then they lose damage, then they lose speed, then they lose attack speed, and then they lose vision. So by the time he reaches level 9, enemy units lose a total of 30% armor, 30% damage, 30% speed, 30% attack speed, and minus 30% vision. So if you do level him up, he has quite an insane debuff, since it affects not 2 but 4 different five different attributes that units have. And then at level 10, he has another debuff that affects heroes. Enemy heroes recharge their abilities 25% slower. And then at level 10, his sword can paralyze anything he attacks for a few seconds. At level 3, he gets this Vampire Circle. This is the same as Arvidui, the Ring Arvidui's ability, where he kind of becomes invulnerable to all damage types except hero and hero range damage, but loses speed.
Bring on the night. Walking.
Let's move a little closer.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
You expected daylight to protect you? Not so fast. You expected daylight to protect you.
And then I think it's supposed to knock back units. I forget. It might be the old text. No, okay. He's just gonna be. So he's just gonna be immune to everything except heroes, basically, for 30 seconds. And then he gets a. He also gets a teleport level 5, but it's kind of different. He's allowed to do it multiple times. He does lose armor in it, but I think it's kind of a funny ability. Look at the recharge on that, so you can just kind of keep doing it. So I think we've just done it, what, like 6 times? It's not strong enough to knock back these Khazad Doom vets, but so be it. Okay, so I think we were able to get like 8 teleports off. Not the most useful ability, but with all these powerful abilities, you can have fun with some of them. So this next ability, though, is awesome. You summon a fortress, and then you can train Thlimdoldran elves. For those of you who may not be familiar with that, I forget which book it is, but Thlimdoldran is like is one of the houses in Gondolin, I believe, of elves. And Maglin is like the leader of them. So this fortress is twofold. You can recruit these elite Thundulgrin elf units, and then it also provides buffs. So nearby allies and heroes, allied units and heroes near the fortress are camouflaged, and then all allies near the fortress gain 20% speed. They gain experience twice as fast, and they deal double magic damage.
The company's work is never done.
It's the ring. Take it quickly.
Okay, so you get these Thundulgrin elves.
There is no
They are elite units. They're not capped, I think. Yeah, they're not capped. So they kind of work like the Gondolin units. They are immune to magic damage. Each one is immune to magic damage, and the archers gain resistance to slash damage. So swordsmen, they're more resistant against swordsmen, and then the marauders gain immunity to magic damage and resistance to pierce damage. So archers, and they each gain an armor upgrade level 5, but they also gain weapon upgrades when they hit level 5 as well. These guys will just level up.
Within reason.
Okay.
Is there something I can do for you?
Alright, cool. Okay. So now these guys are shooting these poison arrows, but they're also doing magic damage and poisoning it, so they get very, very strong. They can do a lot of damage. And then these guys, I believe they deal magic damage and they poison enemies as well. Yeah. They poison enemies and do a lot more damage. The next thing we're gonna do is
Illusion.
go over his level 10. So Maglin's level 10. He summons copies of himself.
I wasn't done with
They are very similar to him in terms of stats, so armor, health, etc. So it's kind of like getting 4 heroes for free. If he dies though, these guys will die.
silence.
So
You expected daylight to protect you?
alright guys, now we're gonna go over the Valor, or not the Valor, the first stage terror summon for Angmar, which is Ungoliant.
Another ice age is coming.
Okay. So Ungoliant has 2 Palantirs. She has a passive ability. All enemies around her are constantly poisoned, and they suffer a lot of poison damage too. She has an Inspire Fear effect. A tunnel, which is on a really low cooldown, and it does a lot of damage when she comes out of the burrow. She has a stinger. This can stun any hero, including other first stage summons like Morgoth and Manwë. And yeah, it does a lot of damage, and it paralyzes them for like 30 seconds, I think. It's a very long paralyze. And then she has a Word of Power, and she can summon Shelob, so I'll just show them off real quick. Not as many abilities as some other of the first stage summons, but she honestly is one of the best. Like, look at this. Look at this weapon fire. And quick teleport, or quick tunnel. It's really powerful. Yep.
The ring has been dropped.
I missed it. Being able to do this is crazy. It continuously, like, it's honestly just like being able to kind of army wipe multiple times. And we'll use that there. Yep, that took a lot of Aragorn's health. And then the last ability is Summon Shelob. So Shelob comes out at level 10, she summons all the little spiders. And she also has 2 planters. She has the same abilities as the Shelob from the Goblin/Misty Mountains faction that I showed off a while ago. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Ungoliant. As I said, not as many abilities as some of the other summons, but they're all very powerful, including this tunnel. The tunnel makes her extremely like useful if you use all these other abilities, because you can just keep tunneling in and it knocks back and does a lot of damage. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the Silmaril hero, which is the Witch King. And we're going to go send these guys to get the Silmaril. One thing I forgot to go over is these units that you get when you get the Witch King level 5. So
Quick, take the ring back to the fortress. Yes. We'll stop.
okay.
We go
I am
no
first
further
of the
today.
king's men.
So these are the Iron Crown Guardians. They passively deal 75% more damage against cavalry, 60% against monsters, 50 more damage against heroes, and 25% more damage against infantry. They have a passive ability, kind of like the Mirkwood Ghost Guardians and the Fornos Guardians. If they get trampled, they deal 200% damage, gain 100% armor, and they passively slow enemies for 50 seconds. They get an active buff at level 3. They gain 250% damage, 25% more health, and knockback resistance. This is a very good unit. Alright, now let's go over the Witch King.
We'll stop here.
Menschen wird untergehen. Das ist meine Stunde.
So, the Witch King with the Silmaril has this kind of insane passive weapon where all your buildings are, and the enemy buildings are kind of covered in this icy mist. And what that does is all enemy buildings, so resource and military buildings in the fortress, will suffer 25% production. So they won't produce as many resources, and it takes longer to produce units and heroes. That's all the buildings. And then your buildings, as you can see, everything covered by the mist, will they will periodically freeze enemies that are nearby and attacking it. So that's just kind of absurd. It's like a global debuff for all buildings and global protection for all your buildings. And then he still has the same passive abilities that he had in his base form, which he reflects damage, debuffs enemy units and makes them afraid, and then grants fear and terror resistance. Honestly though, other than that, he's got actually pretty much the same kit of abilities here. The last ability, the only other ability change he has is he summons an ice demon. So enter the Ice Balrog. This guy is pretty cool. I should have summoned him closer, but anyway. So the Ice Balrog, or Ice Demon, he has a passive ability. So himself and nearby allied units are immune to frost damage, and then enemy units lose 100% armor against frost damage. So essentially, like, they're essentially taking like double damage from frost. So useful if you have the frost arrows on the archers or Helligwin or the upgraded arrow towers. His main attack is he actually just freezes enemies and then they can be attacked. And then his next ability, nearby enemy units are frozen. And then for 30 seconds, the Balrog is immune to magic damage. And also during this time, he can just kind of walk through enemies and freeze them. Yeah. Pretty insane. And then he gets 2 abilities that all Balrogs have. He's got a Fear ability. Yep, makes him run away. And then he gets the Wings ability. So he can fly and deal, like crush enemies. Oh, that freezes them though. Okay, so that's more useful for freezing than is for killing. Okay, and that's pretty much it for Angmar, guys. This is the last evil faction. We got one more faction left. It'll be Gondor. It'll probably be done within a week of this video being released. And yeah, look forward to that. And then once that's out of the way, we'll do some gameplay videos. It's a lot easier to do gameplay videos than finding like an hour and a half, 2 hours to talk about factions. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you subscribe. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already. And peace out, guys. Have a good one.